championship belt wrapped around my waist, yo. I got that Ric Flair figure flow. Slam you on the pavement, that's why they call me Street Pro. Create heat on beat flow. Like Jordan after the second time he three-peated, folks. Get ready, set, let's go. Fight toe to toe, release the flow created by this mic pro. Lights, camera, get low. Action packed, back to back. In fact, this monster will grow. Y'all better let him know. Man with the master plan, and you have no need to know. You came prepared, now get ready for the show.
Sports Professor. Oh,
Yo, 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 what up? What up? What up, friends? You know who it is. Omar, the Professor Fonseca, and yes, this is the Professor's Semanalmente. Just means weekly, you marks. That's all it means, weekly. So yes, I thank you for tuning into my weekly news headlines show. Yes, we are going to talk about world news, the United States news. We're going to talk about all the fallout from the Donald Trump president administrational tariffs, excuse me. So we talked about the tariffs last week. Today we'll talk about the fallout. We'll also get into a little bit of entertainment. We'll update you on that TikTok ban, talk a little bit of movies in the theater, as well as the new Mega Millions. You're going to want to find out how much the new prizes and new cost will be as well. We'll talk a little bit of world news. We'll update you on that South Korean president impeachment, as well as how the rest of the world is responding to the tariffs from the United States. But first, definitely going to start with sports. Today, we have to talk about the National Basketball Championship starting in an hour exactly. So don't worry, I will be off of here to go and let everyone, I'm going to watch it myself, let y'all watch it as well. So also, we will not leave out our boy Alex Ovechkin from the Washington Capitals. This past weekend broke the record of Wayne Gretzky. What? We'll talk all about it, as well as I'll reveal to you the inductees that were announced for the upcoming NBA Hall of Fame class. It is a jam-packed episode, and I only got 1 hour to get it in. So let's kick this bad boy off. Please make sure you're subscribed at Ball and Buds, BALLANDBUDS on YouTube. This is the most important thing. But if you really want to support all of our social media, including follow us on Instagram, that handy QR code up top will take you to our link tree, where you'll be able to find all that, as well as the Bottom Line Sports, which, by the way, tomorrow night, Bottom Line Sports, 8 p.m. Eastern. Check us out. Join the Bottom Line Sports group. We'll be on there talking all of the sports. But for now, and Thursday, don't let me forget, UFC 314, Clubber D, the Combat G's Combat Sports Special. We will have that Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern as well. If you're subscribed to Ball and Buds, you will not miss any of the times that we go live, which is at least 3 or 4 times a week. Let's kick this bad boy off. Make sure you hit that like button, y'all. It's free. It helps us out in the algorithm. It is free to you. So please, if you are watching, even if it's on the recording, hit that like button. All right, cool. First things first, as they say, tonight. Woo! Ball night. We got a ball night. Yes, we got the NCAA March Madness Basketball Championship going down tonight in San Antonio, the Alamo Dome, and it is going to be a doozy. So, who do we have? We've got, again, we told y'all last week, it's chalk all the way, right? So it's going to be a number 1 seed versus a number 1 seed. We've got the number 1 seeded Houston Cougars versus the number 1 seeded Florida Gators. Houston was actually probably the higher ranked team for most of the season. They stayed in the top 5. Florida was in the top 10-ish most of the year. But that's because the SEC, as we know, as I've told you on this program, is the best conference in the country when it comes to men's, men's basketball and football, to be completely honest, if we're holding all our cards out there, if we're playing all the spades. Love spades. NCAA, both teams overcame double-digit deficits. Say that 5 times fast. As Florida advanced after beating the number 1 team, Auburn. They were number 1 all season. They beat them 79-73. And Houston, the Houston Cougars stunned Duke. Wow. Duke had a 6-point lead in the final 35 seconds. But even before that, if you go to, I believe it was around the 5 or 6 minute mark, Duke had a 13-point lead, a lead there in the teens. And the game was assumed at that point by most people to be over. I was betting on Houston, so I had to keep rooting for them, and they came back. Wow. What a comeback. Kelvin Sampson, we'll talk about him in a little bit. But y'all been sleeping on Kelvin Sampson way too long. All right. Kelvin Sampson has 724 wins now, which puts him above the Hall of Famer in which the Kansas Jayhawks Stadium is named after, Fog Allen. So now we got to start thinking about Kelvin Sampson as a Hall of Famer, and he's definitely a college basketball coaching legend. So we'll see. The Florida Gators are favored by 1.5 points, with a 140.5 over-under spread for all of you people planning on betting tonight. I am actually taking the over on the points, and I already told you I'm taking Houston. I'm not even going to take them with the points because I think they're going to win outright, so I'm taking them on the money line. How did Florida get here? Florida, round of 32, defeated UConn barely by 2 points, then defeated Maryland. Shout out to the Terps for such a great year. Then they beat Texas Tech, Flo's Texas Tech there in the Elite Eight. And then finally in the Final Four, they defeated Auburn, as we said. Houston, on the other hand, defeated Gonzaga in the round of 32, then Purdue in the Sweet 16. In the Elite Eight, they defeated the Tennessee Volunteers. Shout out to Knoxville. And then in the Final Four, obviously, the aforementioned Duke. How does it go down tonight? Let's give you the sports professor's preview. All right. How can the Gators contend with not only the Houston's defense, which is the best defense in the league, but also their physicality? And I've been talking about it this whole March Madness. Houston is an experienced-laden team. They have everything going behind them in this matchup. So, Kelvin Sampson's Houston teams have finished in a top 15 adjusted defensive efficiency in 7 of the past 8 seasons, including this season, which means Florida's bigs will have to be in the paint, in the post, rocking it all night long, grabbing boards, trying to affect the offense. They've got to make sure they control the paint. Houston outscored Duke 19-12 in second chance points on Saturday. As well, Gators have committed a lot of fouls in this tournament, and Houston made Duke pay by making their foul shots in last game, including 4 crucial ones down the stretch. And Houston has been doing that all season long. So look at free throws for being a crucial component tonight in this game. If the Gators put them to the line too much, that's going to be an issue. The only way, though, in my eyes, that Florida even wins this game is if Walter Clayton Jr. goes for another 25-plus point game. He is the offense. He is who the offense flows through, and rightfully so, should. And fun professor's fact here for you, Professor Stat. Walter Clayton Jr. is the only player in history, I couldn't believe it when I heard this, the only player in history to have 30-plus points in the Elite Eight and in the Final Four. So, wow, I couldn't believe that when I was like, wait, you mean to tell me all the great players in college history and no one's ever done that in the Elite? I couldn't believe it. I thought Lou Alcindor, I thought Bill Walton, Kemba Walker when he had his run, which is what Walter Clayton is akin to right now. Anyways, so they'll only go as far as Clayton takes them, and facing the best defense in Houston is not going to be good. Clayton is going to have to be hot, but it's not likely, as again, Houston's defense just smothers opponents, suffocates them. So we'll see how Houston, or rather how Florida and Coach Todd Golden is going to go about game planning Walter Clayton Jr. to try to exploit that usually unexploitable Houston defense. Houston does not have many weaknesses, y'all, but they are also not that great on protecting free throws and on making free throws. Now, I said earlier, free throws is going to be a huge component of this game. This backs that up. Yes, Houston made those crucial free throws last game against Duke. Yes, they've been decent, good enough during the tournament, but overall, over the whole year, right, Houston has ranked 14th in offensive free throw rate. So they're going to have to make them like they did last game. And as well, they average fewer free throws because they get to the line less. We are going to see that's going to be huge. Houston has to be physical. We talked about the physicality with the Florida Gators. It's going to be coming from both sides. LJ Cryer is the guy you want to look to on Houston. He is their main guy. Well, they've got a lot of main guys, but LJ Cryer is the cream of the crop, so to say. And he's going to have to exploit that 3-point line to give his teammates an advantage down low in the post, like we just talked about a little bit ago. So this is going to be an excellent matchup. If you are a college basketball fan, you do not want to miss this game tonight. Cool. So let me give you, I think I had one more thing I wanted to mention. Oh, and one other area, the 3-point line, right? We talked earlier about how Walter Clayton is going to have to make his 3-pointers. LJ Cryer is going to have to make his 3-pointers as well. Houston has a very strong defense, and that is as well included on the perimeter. But they allow a lot of 3-point attempts. That bodes well for Walter Clayton Jr. So, what is the sports professor's prediction tonight? I am not going away from the team that I predicted at the beginning of the season. Yes, your boy is on a roll. I predicted the last 2 national college football champions before the season, and I predicted before this season started that Houston would cut down the nets at the end of the season. I see no reason for that to change now. Kelvin Sampson has been trying to get over that mountain, trying to climb the mountain. You know what I mean? He's been trying to get up there, and he is going to finally ascend to the summit and make his dreams come true. Houston wins tonight in a very, very close game, 74-73. Houston beats the Florida Gators tonight. Book it. Go ahead and put that in your FanDuel, in your ESPN bet, in your DraftKings, whatever it is you want to do. Go ahead and put it in there and let them know as well. Make sure you let them know you love this show so much you think they should be sponsoring the show. We would love to have a betting platform as our sponsor. Holla at your boy. All right, moving on. Wowzers, record-breaking. Yes, I said record-breaking, or record-tying, rather, record-tying 12th national championship in basketball. We are talking about the Gino Auriemma-led UConn Huskies. They are back at the top of the summit where they have been 12 times before, defeating the South Carolina Lady Gamecocks 82-59 to win their, again, 12th national title. Oh, it was the record-breaking one. I was right before. I shouldn't have corrected myself. They broke the tie with my UCLA Bruins men's basketball team with the great John Wooden, may he rest in power, for the most in NCAA history, men's or women. What? Mind blown. UConn again is now the reigning most championships in basketball, men or women, led by Coach Auriemma. The 71-year coach has coached them to every single one of their championships up there in Stores. Now, he's got some good players there with him. Aziz Fudd won the Most Outstanding Player Award in the Final Four as well. He has a star freshman in Sarah Strong, who dropped 24 points, 15 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 blocks. A little Nikola Jokic line there for you to beat the Gamecocks. So he still has a very strong team as well. UConn did announce a 5-year, $18.7 million extension that runs through the 2028-2029 season. So we would at least expect him to be there next year, maybe even through Sarah Strong's whole career. But at some point, we've got to be looking at him to retire. Not that I'm saying anybody wants him to. I'm just saying as he gets up there in age, Father Time, no one outlasts Father Time, put it that way. So we will see what happens and how many more championships he can win in that period that he's around. Paige Bueckers, wowzers, the star of this team, widely expected to be the top draft pick in the WNBA draft. Yes, she is awesome. So she has now exhausted her eligibility and will be going to, well, I'm not even going to say where she's going to be going to because they are talking. There are rumors in the rumor mill are saying that she may try to pull an Eli Manning, as she does not desire to go to the team with the number 1 pick in the WNBA draft. And I do not remember exactly off the top of my head who that is, so I apologize. If somebody can help me in the chat. Ooh, I forgot to check the chat. I'll check it in 1 second. But if somebody can help me, I forgot who that, I'm trying to remember. Anyways, I think it's the Dallas Wings, maybe. Anyways, it doesn't really matter. She may try to pull Eli Manning and go wherever she wants, which apparently she doesn't actually have a destination in mind. So maybe just the first good team that comes along. I don't know. Anyways, she's been awesome, and that run that she had in this tournament was historic. And again, UConn earning history as well with their 12th, again, record-setting national championship for men's or women's basketball. All right, let's kick it into these comments real quick, see what we got pop, lock, and dropping over here. Thank you to my wonderful producer. I appreciate that. Yes, thank you, Aisa, for tuning in. We really appreciate you. We appreciate all of our loyal fans here at Ball and Buds. Please, if you're watching, hit that like button. Maybe the heart, maybe the laugh, little love laugh, live home decor photo. It does help us out in the algorithm very, very much so, and it is free to you, but it is invaluable to us. Every like helps. Thank you very much. And every comment helps. Shout out to the NCAA final live on. Yes, I've been telling them all about it. We were just talking about that and just talking about the ladies' win last night. So again, shout out to those ladies. Now moving on to a little more DMV-centric news, as I forgot to have my preview image up earlier with the game. I was wondering where it was at. I was like, I thought I had it in front, but apparently I had it behind the women's one because I guess I thought I was going to talk women's first. Oh, well, there's the image for the preview I was going to do. Shout out to CBS Sports for that image, but I already told you I got Houston 74-73 over the Gators. Alex Ovechkin, yes, Ovi, the great Ovi. You see him there in the middle, just sliding down the ice, Yes, his classic celebration that he has performed numerous times in big moments. Alex Ovechkin did it again. Yes, he is awesome. He has now set the record for most goals scored in National Hockey League history, passing the great one, Wayne Gretzky. So what happened, y'all? Give you a little background on this last night yesterday afternoon, rather, in the UBS Arena, playing the New York Islanders. Alex Ovechkin in his 1,487th game, which is funny because that's the exact same number of games that Gretzky played in his career. So that's pretty cool symmetry there. He passed him with his 895th goal with a wrist shot from his office. If you have ever watched Alex Ovechkin or you watch the Capitals or anything, you're a hockey fan, you will know that Alex Ovechkin's favorite spot on the ice is that left power play circle, that left face-off circle, where he has made so many countless shots, not shops. So shout out to the DMV. They are ecstatic. I know our NFL insider, Shane Peacher, and as well our political strategist, Amul Madan, are both extremely happy about this moment. So shout out to all y'all Washington Capitals and DMV fans with that. Now, I will say something here. I do love me some Ovi, okay? Ovi is to me, he's like LeBron, right? They both played for 20 years, and they both are prolific scorers that did not slow down scoring even into their older age. That being said, for all of you Alex Ovechkin stands out there, I need you to sit the hell down and shut the hell up, okay? I'm tired. I'm tired of the blaspheming coming out of people's mouths that I've been hearing in the past couple days, seeing on the internet. All these young folks ain't never watched Gretzky play. All these other people, just because they passed the goals record. Let me let y'all in on a little secret here. And I told y'all this last week, and so I'll give it to you in another way today. If Wayne Gretzky had never scored one goal in his entire career, take away all 894 goals that Wayne Gretzky scored, take them all away, wipe them all out. He never scored a goal. He wasn't allowed to score, let's say. He was just too good. And they made a Gretzky rule where he couldn't score. Wayne Gretzky would still have more total points with no goals than any player in history. Let me repeat that again. If Wayne Gretzky had 0 goals and he only could count his assists where he passes and makes somebody else better, letting them get a goal, and you took all of his goals away and just added his passes, he has more assists than any player in history had goals plus assists. Mind blown. That is crazy. That is wild. Are you kidding me? You mean to tell me you could take away every goal he's ever scored and he would have more points than any player ever? Any player, all the legends, all of them. Stack them up. From Gordie Howe on down, stack them up. I mean, that's some pretty immaculate stuff right there, y'all. You gotta understand that, yes, Alex Ovechkin is a great player, an excellent player, but there are levels to this stuff. There are levels to this, and he is not on the level of the great one, Wayne Gretzky. Yes, thank you, Aisa. Oh, much appreciated. I love everybody tuning in. We appreciate y'all tuning in today for real. All right, thank you. Let's keep it moving on. Make sure you subscribe to Ball and Buds. NBA Hall of Fame inductees announced: Carmelo Anthony, Dwight Howard, WNBA greats Sue Bird, Maya Moore, and Sylvia Fowles will be headlining the NBA Hall of Fame 2025 class. Wow. Really good class here if you think about the players you have, as long as you're not Hot Take Jake, who wrongfully, may I add, before I even say the ignorant comment he made, wrongfully and hella wrongfully thinks that Carmelo Anthony is not a Hall of Famer. That's That's ridiculous. Anyways, Carmelo Anthony is a bona fide Hall of Famer, and he's going into the Hall of Fame. Dwight Howard as well, although he faded off in the later years of his career. I still think he's more borderline for me in the Hall of Fame. But he was such a good defensive player, and for a long time the offensive player too, until he slowed down. I don't know. I'd have to really analyze his stats and his plus minus and kind of see what he had going on. Eye test wise, sure, I'm okay with it. I'm good with it, but I could definitely see it being borderline as well. So, but there is no borderline with Carmelo, no borderline with Sue. Absolutely no borderline with Sue Bird. Absolutely no borderline with Sue Bird. And neither was Sylvia Fowles or Maya Moore either. And Maya Moore, just a great all-around person. We know what she did in terms of advocacy for many different causes, but especially the one where she got her now husband out of jail, where he was incorrectly charged and incorrectly convicted for a crime he did not commit. So shout out to her. Also, some others, current Bulls coach, two-time NCAA champion Billy Donovan, the Miami Heat's managing general partner Mickey Arison, shout out my boy Rube, prayers up, and longtime NBA referee Danny Crawford. Enshrinement is set for September 5th and 6th at the Mohegan Sun in Uncasville, Connecticut, and at the Hall of Fame in Springfield, Massachusetts. All right. So shout out, salute to all of those great players making the NBA Basketball Hall of Fame. We cannot forget one last note. Yes, I am a LeBron hater, so I did put it last. LeBron and Chris Paul will be going in before their playing careers even end. Why? How is that, you ask, Omar? Well, let the professor learn you some things. The class of 2025 will also include the 2008 U.S. Olympic men's basketball team, dubbed the Redeem Team. They captured gold in Beijing and started a now still going present day run of 5 consecutive Olympic titles. Basically, they redeemed what was lost from the early Dream Team days of Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, and basically brought the United States back to the prominence when it came to Olympic basketball. All right. Moving on. District California Judge Claudia Wilkin will preside over the approval for the proposed House versus NCAA settlement. So if you watched Ball and Buds for a while, you will know, because I have talked about this subject plenty of times. I have talked about how, especially on Mind of Professor, if you go back and watch the one where I talked about the NCAA amateurism and how deeply I distrust and dislike the NCAA for how they treat these student athletes. I'm going to leave that for you to go back and watch. Please go check out that Mind of the Professor. I believe it was from this past summer. Anyways, so what's happening here, y'all? Well, the NCAA has long, I don't even want to say held the belief, because they don't actually believe it in their own departments, but they have long held the public-facing opinion that athletes that play college athletics are amateurs and therefore cannot be considered employees and therefore not entitled to payments, compensation. We all know that this started back with the Ed O'Bannon case and the name, image, likeness for the video games and all that about 10, 15 years ago, and it has progressed as it has gone forward to this point. By now, if you even know of any college sports, which is probably most of the country, I would assume, you've heard NIL, which stands for name, image, likeness. Well, there has been lawsuits against the NCAA in courts for the past few years trying to get NIL approved and be able to have schools provide payments to their student athletes so that their because let's be completely honest, and again, you can go back and hear all of this on the Mind of the Professor. But I don't care what you think. The athletes have to do so much more than a regular student that the education alone, which by the way, they don't care enough for them to even want them to focus on. They'd rather them focus on the sport, but then turn around and tell them they also have to not earn any money. Well, when are they supposed to have time for a job then? And no, a scholarship is not enough. And it never has been enough. These administrators, these TV companies, media rights holders, sponsors, all of them, making money hand over freaking fist off of these students and off these athletes who have gotten nothing for the past 100 and whatever 50 years since the NCAA started because of this bullshit amateurism. It's not a thing, and it never should have been, and I'm so glad it's going away. Now, Claudia Wilkins is not expected to decide today, but she will give some insights into things like the legality of new NIL restrictions, revenue sharing caps, gender disparities in payments, and negative impact of roster limits. Because obviously, if you only have a certain amount of money to pay players, which, by the way, right now is going to start, if this is approved, will start in 2026, and it will be $20.5 million that schools will be allowed to pay athletes. It could also be 2025 if they get it done more quickly, but since she's not supposed to decide yet, it may not be decided in time for football season. So football and basketball season. So we'll see what happens. Anyways, the settlement between a group of D1 athletes, the NCAA, and power conferences for 3 lawsuits filed over the past few years would offer $2.8 billion in past damages to the players who were not able to earn NIL money before 2021. It will also, as I had mentioned earlier, allow schools to share the portion of their athletic department revenue with their players. This settlement is obviously antithetical to NCAA's business model of amateurism, and that schools shouldn't have to pay players because they are not professionals. Again, that has always been BS. It is still BS to this day. These athletes deserve payments. They are expected to not only train countless hours a week, 40 hours a week, like a damn job. They don't have time to go get another job, and they still have to go to class, even though you don't really want them to care about their education. All of that tells me these people need to be paid for the stress that they have to deal with these damn places. Not to mention, a degree is not worth what it once was back in the day. Most jobs these days, I shouldn't say that. That's going to be probably incorrect, and somebody's going to fact check me on that. Some jobs these days, you don't even need degree. Like, for instance, look at me, right? I teach digital marketing. I used to teach at Vanderbilt. I taught digital marketing, social media, marketing, right? Marketing, you don't really need a degree. Does it help? Sure. I mean, I'm glad, I'm sure when I got my first degree, my first marketing job after I had my degree, I'm sure the company said, oh, okay, well, at least he has a degree in marketing. But honestly, in marketing, digital marketing, things like that, it's more about the experience that you have. Because if you've been in the field for 10 years and you've got the experience, or even if you've been in the field for 3 or 4 years and you've got the experience, who the hell cares if you have a degree? But that's not to shit on degrees. I have 2 degrees. I got a double degree from the great University of Maryland. Shout out to my alma mater, the Terps. And I am very proud of those 2 degrees that I have, international business and marketing. So I will never shit on it, but I will say that it's not worth as much as it used to be back in the day when a degree was the end all be all and you couldn't even get a job unless you had a degree. A lot of jobs aren't like that anymore. Anyways, just a little tangent there from your boy, but governing body power conferences agreed to save that they would save billions in damages if they were to lose this case, and also they would lose control over future sports compensation rules. So that's why there's likely going to be this settlement and agreement that takes place. All right, moving on into some quick hitters. Let's check the comments. Thank y'all for tuning in. Again, make sure you hit that like button. It is free to you, but invaluable to us. Toronto Blue Jays signed their superstar first baseman Vladimir Vladdy Guerrero Jr. to a, get this, 14-year, $500 million. Yes. Obviously not on the level of the Juan Soto deal that he got from my Mets for 15 years, $765 million, but not too shabby at 14 years, $500 million. I mean, honestly, I didn't think Soto was going to get as much as he did anyways. I thought it was going to be 556. I still can't believe that it progressed that far. This is about right. This is about where Vladimir should be. Soto should be a little higher here. Again, levels, right? Ohtani, Soto, Guerrero, right? Working on down the list. But Guerrero is an amazing player. He has the hit tool, and that's what he needs. And he plays a position that's not going to wear him down. Eventually, yeah, he's going to have to go full-time DH. He's not going to be able to play first base forever, but for the next few years, definitely. And as a DH, his best tool is hitting. So and his dad, Vladimir Guerrero Sr., who was an amazing baseball player, played for the Expos, played for the Nationals. He was awesome. And they both got the same great hitting in them. And so I think just like Soto, I think both of their hitting will hold up. The only thing is Soto plays a little more of a demanding position in right field right now, although I don't see him playing there past 3 more years either. So, all right, more baseball news. I'm shaking my head at you, Pirates. Pittsburgh, look at me in the eye real quick. Let me take my glasses down for a second and look you straight in your eye, give you a little side eye action. The Pittsburgh Pirates. Shaking my head at you. They have what a disgrace this is. So let me tell y'all something. The Pittsburgh Pirates are one of the most, and shout out to my brothers, the Malave clan, who are all Pittsburgh Pirates fans. This is not to crap on the team, but the Pittsburgh Pirates are one of the most moribund franchises in MLB history. They are absolute garbage and have been. Booty juice. They are straight up booty juice and have been for a long, long period of time. And they're just now going to be good because they have Paul Skeens and O'Neal Cruz, and that's if they don't mess that up like they mess everything else up. Just like they messed this up. So you're going to tell me the last time your franchise was halfway decent, good, making the playoffs was back in the 70s when you had the legend, the great Roberto Clemente from Puerto Rico, wepa. And you're telling me that one of the greatest, if not greatest player in your franchise's history, because I don't know if you can claim all of Barry Bonds since he went to the Giants, could be the greatest player in your franchise's history. And you mean to tell me you took the logo honoring your franchise legend that was on the right field wall and you replaced it with an advertisement for a vodka drink? For a canned vodka drink? You have disrespected the great and one of my national heroes from Puerto Rico, the amazing Roberto Clemente, to advertise some high noon. I don't even know if it was high noon. Could have been neutral. I don't know. They're all right. I have them from time to time on a rooftop on Broadway sometimes when it's hot outside. You don't replace your franchise legend with an alcohol advertisement. Unacceptable. Reprehensible, irresponsible, uneducated, ignorant. There's many other adjectives I could use to describe this situation, but I'm already pissed off as is. And don't give me as an honest mistake and a miscommunication. There should be no honest mistakes and miscommunications. It should be, hey, that's a logo advertising one of the best, if not the greatest player in our franchise's history. How about that doesn't get touched ever? Unless it's being moved somewhere else and you let the public know in advance. Because that stuff does not go unnoticed. And the family was especially hot in that situation. I'm glad you're fixing it. But it should have never happened in the first place. Moving on. Salute. Happy retirement to another DC legend. WNBA MVP Ella Della Don is officially retiring from pro basketball. She is an Olympic gold medalist. She won an MVP in 2015 for the Chicago Sky and a second one in 2019, leading the DMV's own Washington Mystics to their first ever WNBA championship. And she also recorded the only, and I was very surprised by this. I thought somebody like Sue Bird, Maya Moore, that we talked about earlier, ladies like that, would have done this. Diana Taurasi. She has the only 50, 40, 90 season in WNBA history. Now you ask, Omar, what's 50, 40, 90 mean? Well, you know, I'm the professor, and so I come to learn you these sorts of things. So let me learn you some stuff. 50, 40, 90 represents the numbers for percentages of shooting. 50, the first number, is the field goal percentage. So that is the percentage of shots that she makes out of all that she takes, right? The percentage she makes within the three-point line. The next number, 40, is related to the percentage of shots she makes outside the three-point line. And then finally, 90 is the percentage of free throws that she makes. So obviously field goals are going to be easier, especially for somebody her height who played in the post and was dominant in the post, right? Is easier than shooting threes. That's why the three is at a 40 and a lower percentage. And obviously free throws are the easiest, which is why it's 90. 50, 40, 90 is a vaunted club to be in both I was going to say in both WNBA and NBA, but any basketball, I guess, any league you're playing. So salute to her. Happy retirement. Last note here in sports, golf. Scotty Scheffler, yes, and Rory McIlroy will be the favorites to win the Masters this week. Yes, the Masters begins this Thursday in Augusta, Georgia. Obviously, if you do not, well, not obviously if you do not, if you watch golf, you know, but if you do not watch golf, the Masters is the most prestigious tournament in golf. Cool. So it's such a pristine course. The competition is the highest of the high. The LIV golf players will be involved. So that's awesome, right? Because now you really got the best of the best and you're not just leaving out some of these people. So again, shout out. That is really great. I love Masters. So we'll see who wins this time around. All right, cool. Now we are going to move it in to entertainment. First of all, in our entertainment and pop culture news, we want to send out a solemn and heartfelt rest in peace to Jay North. And you may say, Omar, who's Jay North? I've never heard of this person. Well, as well, you know, the professor just here to learn you all these things today and every day. That's why you tune in. Jay North was Dennis the Menace. Yes, the mischievous child menace on TV. Jay North played Dennis the Menace for 4 seasons starting in 1959. Unfortunately, he passed away at 73 after battling colon cancer, which is a good time to stop and tell everyone, go get your booty checked. Okay? And I'm not talking the country in Africa. Go get your booty checked. Okay? I don't know how you want to do it. There are ways you can get your booty checked without having to get the old plungeroo. I did a holistic MRI, which tests for all that stuff. So you don't actually have to go get the manual. The manual, That's so you don't have to go get the manual tune. Oh, so we don't have to go get the manual tune up. That is tremendous. Anyway, so yeah, everyone make sure you go get checked as well for everything else. Breast cancer, obviously testicle cancer, all these things are very important. Make sure you're checking out your boys and your girls, making sure there are no things like lumps or other things that you do not want to find. Prayers for everyone who is dealing with anything like that right now. North appeared on other TV shows, including The Man from U.N.C.L.E., The Lucy Show, My Three Sons, Lassie, and The Simpsons, and also starred in movies like Maya, The Teacher, and Dickie Robert, former child star. He is survived by his wife Cindy and his 3 stepdaughters. May he rest in peace. Jay North, a.k.a. Dennis the Menace. Moving on, Coachella starts this week, and yes, you can see there are some major headliners going on. You got Green Day, love me some Green Day. You got Weezer, love me some Weezer. You got Ed Sheeran. You got Lady Gaga. You got Travis Scott. You got Post Malone. I mean, look, I don't actually listen to very much new music these days. So I don't actually listen to Post Malone or Travis Scott more than what I just hear, on the streets in Nashville or on the radio or whatever. But I can tell you I love me some Green Day and some Weezer, and I can tell you that the rest of them are all really famous for their musical talents and their artistic abilities. Even Lady Gaga is an actress as well and a very talented performer. I don't care for her music, but that's just because it's not my type. That doesn't mean it's bad. I also don't care for Beyonce's music, but that doesn't mean it's bad. I just don't care for it. I shouldn't have said that because now the Beehive's going to come after me. I was just joking. I love me some Beyonce. I do love Beyonce. I don't listen to that much R&B. And if I listen to R&B, I'm going to go old school. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to listen to new R&B when the greatest R&B was back in the 70s and 80s and 90s. Like, why would I do that? I can just go back and listen to the classics. I don't need to listen to anything now. Anyways, it starts this weekend, and then next weekend, yes, if you didn't know, Coachella Valley Music Arts and Festival in California is a 2-weekend event. I actually need to get out there at some point in time. If anyone wants to go to Coachella next year, let me know. I need a partner to go with me as well. I was talking to my boy Austin last night. Shout out my boy Austin. Trying to go to Bonnaroo again this year. I don't actually like any of the artists that are performing per se. I just love Bonnaroo. I just love festivals in general. It's just a good time. You're there with a bunch of friends partying and listening to music. So, I mean, you can just never go wrong with that. At least not in my eyes. That's my perfect time. All right. We got comment? Yes. Okay. Now you're just commenting to the family on my comments. Not sure why. I didn't see her even comment, but thank you. All right. Make sure that y'all are subscribed to Ball and Buds if you are watching on YouTube. Please, as the young kids say these days, smash that subscribe button as well. Please hit that like button for us. It is free for you, but it is so invaluable for us in the way that it helps boost us up in the algorithm. So if you're watching, I would very much appreciate any sort of like, heart, any kind of cool reaction you want to give. All right, update on TikTok ban. We talked about, well, this is probably the 5th time we've talked about this story on this show because, as I am wont to do and should be doing, always keeping you updated. TikTok has got another extension, a second extension, as President Trump said probably would happen. The China-based parent company now has another 75 days to try to find an investor. They do now have proposals from investors, including Oracle, Blackstone, and Andreessen Horowitz. So, but President Donald Trump said there will be more time needed to finalize any deal, and it would still require China's approval for that to be sold. He says that he may be willing to trade tariff relief for that We'll talk about the tariffs in just a second. The public isn't concerned in general, though. If you look at the public consensus, there was a survey done on 1,000 American adults by the Stagwell market research firm, and it found that 61% of the public within this, obviously this survey, were not concerned about a TikTok ban, would not be worried if TikTok went away. So, almost 2/3 of the population. Now, if you are a small business that does most of their business on TikTok, you probably don't agree at all with that. And I completely understand, because a lot of businesses, especially for students of mine that have businesses online, do use TikTok as a promotional tool, as an advertisement tool. You know what I mean? So, all right. Minecraft movie. I never thought I'd ever be talking about a Minecraft anything in my life, since I don't have kids. But a Minecraft movie, which probably makes my mom sad, but that's another joke for another day. Minecraft movie makes oh, she's gonna be mad when she calls me after. Minecraft movie makes bank and breaks a record despite a lukewarm response from the critics. The film starring Jack Black and Jason Momoa, $157 million. That is the biggest opening ever for a video game adaptation, and was 77 million more than the analysts had predicted overall. That's the best debut ever for a video. That's the best opening weekend, and that is as the North American box office revenue is down 11% over the first 3 months of the year. You'll remember the past couple of weeks we talked about Snow White and how that did not make nearly the amount of money that it was expected to make. So for all of you out there watching movies in the movie theaters, salute. I still have not been to one since COVID. I need to go back. I just haven't had a movie that I really wanted to go see. I'm waiting for a new Star Wars. That'll probably be when I do that. Anyways, Mega Millions. For all you Mega Millions players out there, I am sorry to tell you, I've got some good news and some bad news, and you're going to get the bad news first. The bad news, I'm sorry to tell you, prices are going up. If you play the Mega Millions, prices are going up. From $2, tickets will now be $5. Yes, but the good news, jackpots will go up and prizes will get bigger and grow faster. So, players who would have won $2 or $500 in the old format will now win between $10 and $1,000, or $10. Yeah, $10 and $1,000. Cool. So you can see how before, if you paid $2 and your lowest prize coming back would be $2, now you're paying $5 and your lowest prize coming back will be $10. So you're making a little bit more. Yeah, you got to pay a little bit more, but got to pay to play. As we always say on this show, quoting the one of the greatest hip hop groups of all time, the Wu-Tang Clan. Cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money. Dollar bills, yeah. Shout out to the Wu-Tang Clan. The odds of winning the Mega Millions jackpot also have improved from 1 in 302 million to 1 in 290 million. Yeah, I know. Still probably not going to happen for most people. I'm not going to say myself I will win the Mega Millions. Hopefully you will too. But yeah, odds are most people will never win that, as it is very, very highly unlikely. The game is available in 45 states. The only ones it's not available in, which I never knew this until my research, Alabama, Alaska, Hawaii, Nevada. Hello to all my Ohana in Hawaii, and Utah, as well as the Virgin Islands and the District of Columbia, DC, where I'm from. But that doesn't really mean anything, because if you live in DC, you can just go right over the bridge to Maryland or Virginia and go buy tickets, and that's what most of them do. Drawings are held Tuesdays and Fridays at 11 p.m. All right, moving on into our United States news for the week. Oops, I forgot to change my slide. That's okay. You saw that slide last week anyways. All right, moving on to our United States news for the week. A second, yes, I repeat, a second measles outbreak has happened second measles death has happened in the Texas measles outbreak. So what happened? There was an 8-year-old girl in Lubbock who succumbed to measles-related pulmonary failure. The two victims both were unvaccinated and are the first confirmed measles deaths in the U.S. since 2015. What is measles? It is a contagious airborne disease that causes rashes, fevers, and respiratory issues with young children and immunocompromised people at higher risk, which means non-vaccinated. The deployment of the vaccine in 1963, subsequent public health campaigns led the disease to being declared eliminated, meaning no continuous endemic transmission in the U.S. since then up until 2000. So, of the 607 measles cases reported this year, only almost 90% of them are linked to the outbreak straddling West Texas and eastern New Mexico. And roughly 97 of those patients are either unvaccinated or whose vaccination status is unknown. Human Health and Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., RFK Jr., who is a known vaccine skeptic, actually attended the funeral and had the nerve on X. And this was rich when I read this, considering, yeah, he's not necessarily a vaccine denier like most people make him out to be, but he's definitely a vaccine skeptic. I mean, as everyone should be with certain vaccinations. Not the measles vaccination. I don't think I need to say this on this program again. There's no reason to not have the measles vaccination. It has been 60 years now that we have had it, and it's proven safe. Okay? And if you don't have it, and now it's causing everybody else issues, well, you're the problem. That's ridiculous. Now, I'm going to back up what I'm saying right now real quick because I do want to put a little premise on this. From what I read as well, this is part of a very highly religious sect, Mennonite community maybe, or I think it was Mennonite. So very, very religious people that maybe they don't believe in vaccines. Maybe. Okay, fine. If there's some sort of religious exemption, which I don't believe in, sorry, because I remember when COVID was happening, in the Catholic Church, they were having a lot of discussion as to whether you should take the vaccine or not due to what was the stem cells and all these other things that could be included in the vaccines. No. The greater health of the bigger general population is more important than your belief. Sorry. Not sorry. That's the way it is. The health of the greater at-large population is more important than any individual's belief. Just because you believe some shit, which could be incorrect, and you don't want to do something, in this case, take a measles vaccine, and then you go out and get a bunch of people sick or killed, well, then that's your damn fault. And you need to be put in jail for it. I get if you don't want to take the COVID vaccine. Got it. Cool. It was rushed, super rushed. It was not necessarily tested or rolled out with a lot of testing. They did a little bit. So I am very understandable if you were hesitant and or did not take the COVID vaccine. I understand. Because you should have been skeptical. It was a rushed process that could have been botched. Now, it wasn't, because I've known plenty of people that are perfectly safe after taking the COVID vaccine. And you know what? I'm not even going back to COVID again. We're not even going back to that time. I just want to forget that ever happened. Moving on. Just get the measles vaccine, please. I guess if you have a religious exemption, okay. But at this point, there is no reason on God's green earth that anyone should not have a measles or polio. Really? So you want to get a disease that is going to cause you to be immobile because you didn't want to take a polio vaccine? That doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't make sense. And again, we've talked about it on this show before. I completely understand vaccine skepticism. You should be. Especially certain certain portions of the population that have been affected before. For instance, when African Americans were highly affected when they used to run the different, they called them studies, but they were really horrible experiments through vaccines. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can go look it up. Horrible. So I can understand the skepticism when it comes to vaccines. But vaccines in terms of polio and measles, man, just get that. Please just get that. Don't just get it. That doesn't make any sense. All right, moving on. President Donald Trump announced Liberation Day last week on 10% tariffs on every country in the world, including all of the penguins in Antarctica. We'll get to that in a second. I had to go find a funny story after my producer told me about that because I hadn't heard it last week when we talked about it. And I also need water as I am getting a little parched. But anyways, President Trump did enact those tariffs across the world. And man, after this, y'all, the markets plunged. The S&P 500 took a 10% plunge, which was the steepest two-day decline in 70 years. On par with all of the other horrible things that have happened, like 2008 global recession, like COVID, like the Great Depression. Anyways, more than $6 trillion was wiped out in stocks over 2 days. Not a lot of Trump's friends are very happy about this, especially the rich ones that lined his pockets to help him win the election. They are very unhappy that they have lost a lot of their market share over the past week. Down 20% the NASDAQ was from the previous high. So we'll see what happens here. A lot of countries they say, well, let's be completely honest. You can't take anything that any politician says at their word. I've told you that plenty of times on this program. You should never believe anything any politician tells you. And that goes doubly for the Trump administration. We know President Trump likes to exaggerate. We know President Trump likes to bluster. We know President Trump likes to outright lie. We know he likes to make up stories sometimes. So when he says that all these countries are reaching out to talk trade, it could be true, but it may not be. So take that with a grain of salt. Either way, there are some, as was exhibited today when Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu visited the White House and talked with Trump about tariffs and about their plans to scrap all tariffs against the United States. But until these agreements come into place, I'm sure there will be some, until these agreements come into place and until these tariffs are actually solidified, because as we do know, Trump did pull back on his tariffs against Canada and Mexico twice now. So we don't actually know that these are going to go through completely. But me personally, there's no way in hell I could see him not doing this. Like at this point, after you made such a big deal over it, and after you just told the whole world you were going to tariff them, I mean, I think at that point, you just kind of have to go through with it. So we will see what happens, but this is a full trade war. People around the world are not happy, including his own constituents, including leaders around the world. The global economy, as I told you last week, is going to be hit very hard by this. I told you that last week. When we talked about this story, I told you exactly what was going to happen. And what happened the next day? Exactly what I said was going to happen. The global economy was going to go to shit. That being said, consumers and investors are being advised to evaluate their portfolios, consider diversifying into international equities, bonds, opportunistic plays, and avoid making panicked decisions. Make your big purchases now. If you're looking to buy a car, If you're looking to build a house, you need to do it now because taxes or tariffs are going to raise prices on everything from autos to lumber to build homes. Now, you may want to weigh your alternatives. Maybe it's better to just fix up your dusty ass broken vehicle. All right? I see you out there. You know who you are. I'm talking to you with that broken down Toyota Corolla. Go get a new car. Oh, Dusty. Get lucky or be dusty, fools. All right. Anyways, consider making that purchase now or other alternatives such as fixing things up. You may also want to consider a Roth conversion, shifting your assets from traditional IRA to after-tax Roth IRA so that the value of the assets are down, you'll pay less in taxes. That's why you come to here. You come to learn things from the professor, and I come to teach. Thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to Ball and Buds, BALLANDBUDS. Hit that like button for me, please. It is free to you, but it is worth so much to us here at the network. We are trying to get up in that algorithm on YouTube. It looks like the game is starting, so I'm going to get y'all out of here. We will talk more about the world fallout from tariffs. Obviously, y'all can tell I talk long. It's been known, even when I taught at Vanderbilt, the classes were supposed to be 3 hours. I'd always go for like 3.5, 4. I'd be like, well, y'all are getting free education. Don't be mad. So you're not paying for this. It's free. So I'm going to move a lot of these fallouts, but just know that a lot of companies, including Nintendo and Jaguar, are either delaying or outright stopping production in some cases. Like for all my gamers out there, the Nintendo Switch 2 has been delayed in when it's going to be released from April to June. Or not released, but when pre-release for the pre-sales and things like that due to the tariffs. So also Republican senators advanced a budget resolution this past weekend that will look to make permanent, President Trump's 2017 tax cuts. Now, I know everybody, especially on the right side, the conservative side of the aisle, seem to trump up, pun intended, these tax cuts. The problem is, and I have to keep repeating this on this program, is that these tax cuts are mainly just going to help the rich, the people that are making over 150,000, households that are making over 250, 500,000 a year. This is not going to help most of you all watching this program. Now, if you're someone rich watching this program right now, first of all, thank you for tuning in. Sir, may I have another? I would like to do, or ma'am, you could be a rich lady. If you're Oprah, I'll be your Stedman. I'll do whatever you want. You just gotta, foot what I want to do. Any sugar mamas, any rich sugar mamas out there that need a boy toy, I'll at your boy toy. Shawn Michaels bars. All right. Anyways, the problem with this though, and this is the rich part about this, is that Republicans continue to talk about how Democrats wasted so much money during Joe Biden's term. And yet have nothing to say when things like this happen, where they want to raise the budget to $5 trillion, a $1.5 trillion increase, which would be the most. Get it from Rand Paul, Senator, Republican from Kentucky, who even said this would set the record for borrowing money in American history. He said, if we expand the debt at $5 trillion, that will be an expansion of the debt equal to or exceeding everything that happened in the Biden years. Republicans who vote for this will be on record as being more fiscally liberal than their counterparts. They will vote to borrow more money than the Democrats ever borrowed. Again, this is from Senator Rand Paul, who's a Republican. The nonpartisan Committee for Responsible Budget also found that the Senate's blueprint will add up to $5.8 trillion to the deficit. So these are the same people that brought in Elon Musk to apparently go through the government and save money on Doge, and then they're just going in the back door and asking for more money to spend on other stupid shit. Do y'all see what I'm saying to you now? Do you see why I'm saying do not trust any politicians? They do not care about you. They care about themselves, they care about their family, and they care about the people lining their pockets, the lobbyists, Their constituents that pay them money. They don't care about you. Think. They don't care. They tell us one thing to our face, and you all know watching this program, I hate all parties. I hate all politicians. As my boy Francis Long, shout out, prayers up to the Long family, would say, they're all liars, cheaters, and scums. Woo! And they are. And they should not be trusted. None of them. Not a damn one of them should be trusted. And this is one of those times. How you going to tell me you try and cut fraud, waste, and abuse and make the government more efficient to save money and cut income taxes and all this other BS you try to feed the public, but then you turn around and ask for almost $6 trillion to add to the deficit? That's malicious. That's not even diabolical. That is vitriolic. That is on another level of diabolicalness. That is vitriolic. What a great word for a Puerto Rican on a live TV show. Vitriolic. It means basically, lack of a better explanation, to express severe anger or severe consequences to a person, place, thing, situation due to something that was done in a mean fashion or a aggressive fashion or a malicious fashion. Cool. Here's your word of the day. Vitriolic. Vitriolic. I had to think about where the other I that was there for a second. All right. Cool. Let's move on to world news before we get you out. Oh, wait, no. What was that other note I had there? Okay. Never mind. That's good for next week. All right. Moving into world news. Pope Francis made a surprise visit. Yes. Looking a little frail, as you can see there in the picture. But I mean, thank God he's alive. And, look, the man is 88 years old, y'all. He had a severe respiratory infection just a few weeks ago. So the fact that he's even showing his face in public in the Vatican, St. Peter's Square, is just awesome and amazing. So shout out to the Pope, and hopefully, he can stay alive a lot longer, God willing. We'll see what happens. Also, for all of the Christian and Jewish populations out there, Passover starts this Saturday evening. So, celebrating the exodus of the Israelites from slavery in Egypt. So, a little history lesson for those of you who may not be Christian and or Jewish. That's what Passover is about. As you can see in our other picture, South Korea, highest court. Now, this will be the third update we've done on this news story. You remember I told y'all that the South Korean president was impeached, and then they put him back into office. Well, now they have impeached him again. So this is getting crazy, y'all. South Korea's highest court unanimously decided to remove impeached President Yoon Suk Yeol from office yesterday, ending 5 months of political uncertainty after Yoon's martial law declaration in December, which was the worst thing he ever could have done because it led to this impeachment. Now, this will trigger a new election in 60 days to elect a new leader, with Prime Minister Han Duck-soo serving as acting president in the interim. Yoon had been indicted on charges of leading an insurrection, where have we heard that from before, January 6th, by imposing martial law, the first such declaration since the country democratized in the 1980s. So, wowzers, y'all, this is crazy. Again, the third side switch on this one. He was impeached December 14th, arrested January 15th, later faced trial, then was reinstated, and now impeached again. He gone. They're going to hold a snap election June 3rd. Lee Jae-myung, the leader of the Democratic Party, is considered a front runner in the race, while the ruling conservatives have yet to decide on a candidate. All right. Cool. Well, that's got to be it. I had some more stories to go, but the game is on. And I know a lot of y'all are probably watching it and want me to shut up so you can watch it. And I also want to go watch it in peace and have my accoutrements that I usually have to enjoy. with a little sports. But I will say this one other thing, and just to make a light joke about this before we get out of here. My producer last week had mentioned how penguins were being affected by the tariffs. And yes, 2 tiny remote Antarctic outposts called the Heard and McDonald Islands, which are territories of Australia that sit 4,000 kilometers southwest of Australia and only accessible via a 7-day boat trip from Perth and haven't been visited by humans since 2016. Yes, was hit with 10% tariffs from Donald Trump's administration. You can't make this up. You really cannot make up that you are going to charge an island that is inhabitable, has no people, unpopulated, and the only thing there is penguins and seals. What are they going to pay you with? I mean, I know they got those nice tuxedos they rented. You like that penguin joke? Oh, do the penguin dance. Do the penguin dance. Shout out Tony Kornheiser. Like, do the penguin dance. Yo, what? This is, I can't. That's it. I got to end on that note. That is absolutely hilarious. But really the more point that I want to put out on that is not that he's tariff penguins. It's funny. Yeah, it's great. But it's more that this is indicative. This is a microcosm. This is a preliminary baseline standing point from which you are to extrapolate that shows you exactly what Trump has always been about. His whole entire life, he is a showman. He is a bluster. He is a reality star. He is a TV show man. He is a businessman. He is anything you can expect. And all he is saying is that, or not all he's saying, but what he's saying when he does things like this, he wants everything to be huge, as he says. Huge. It's going to be the biggest ever. You always hear him say it. Everything has to be the biggest. Everything has to be the most grandest for him. So when he does something, just like we talked about with Doge, when they weren't using a scalpel like they should, and instead cutting with a chainsaw and affecting innocent lives, same thing happens here. You're not actually going in and doing what an administration should do and say, okay, let's actually look at each of these countries individually and see which ones we should actually tariff. No, you just go through and say, fuck it, we don't got time. Oh, excuse my language there, my bad. Screw it, we don't got time. 10% tariffs on everybody. Like Oprah, you get a car, you get a car. It's like, you get a tariff, you get a tariff. And you get the professor every Monday night, usually around 7:30 Eastern. Sometimes 7 Eastern. Yeah, there you go. My producer says Penguins. She feels bad for the Penguins. Usually 7:30 Eastern every Monday night. I come through with the professor's Semanalmente, which just means weekly. You marks. That's all it means. Every week, Mondays 7:30. Make sure 7:30 p.m. Eastern, give or take my CP time. Catch me, Omar, the Professor Fonseca, here learning y'all some good news, entertainment, pop culture, world news, United States, Donald Trump, everything, sports, everything, weekly. And I love doing this for you all. I love you all coming out and supporting me. Please, even if you're watching this on replay, hit that like button, hit that heart, that laugh, whatever. It really helps us in the algorithm. It is free to you, but is invaluable to us. As well, please make sure you subscribe to Ball and Buds, BALLANDBUDS on YouTube. I will be back tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, The Bottom Line Sports. Please make sure you join The Bottom Line Sports Facebook group. If you like sports, we talk a bunch of trash, post a bunch of news stories. And as well, Thursday night, Clubber D, the Combat G, and yours truly, the Sports Professor, we will have the Combat Sports special for UFC 314 and all of the latest boxing and MMA news and updates and fights and all that good stuff. So again, thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that like button. And as always, please go out this week, be kind to each other, help each other, love yourself, be blessed, be successful, help other people, be kind, and spread love the Omar way. Holla! 5,000.
with the millions.
It's that world heavyweight flow. Championship belt wrapped around my waist, yo. I got that Ric Flair figure flow. Slam you on the pavement, that's why they call me Street Pro. Create heat on beat flow. Like Jordan after the second time he three-peated, folks. Get ready, set, let's go. Fight toe to toe, release the flow created by this mic pro. Lights, camera, get low. Action packed, back to back. In fact, this monster will grow. Y'all better let him know. Man with the master plan, and you have no need to know. You came prepared, now get ready for the show.
Sports Professor.